Okay, let's go live. This is James Maduke speaking, trainingsites.io. Today, what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of a recap of some of the videos that I did at the end of last year and really talk about what I think is important for 2025, and that's a tipping point. I think we're at a kind of a situation, if you're creating online courses or thinking about creating online courses, there's a couple decisions that we're all going to have to make, and it's because of AI, obviously. And it's a real balancing act right now. So I'm going to go over that, tell you what I think about it, and then I'm going to hopefully introduce to you a silver lining or something that you can do if you decide on one of these parts of the scale or that tipping point. And I think the thing that's interesting to me is because I've been doing this so long, I've seen a lot of these ebbs and flows with all of the stuff with digital marketing and online courses. And it's exciting because this one is completely different than the other ones that I've seen before. And there's still a bit of scary because we don't know what's going to happen, but we can at least guess or have some kind of ballpark idea of how this is all going to pan out. So what am I talking about, of course? The title of this one was, online course tipping points. I still see a lot of people, and I even do it, rightly or wrongly, I use the word online course. I think if we focus exclusively on online courses, that's the thing that's tipping to something else. And if you've been trying to sell an online course or create an online course, you might have already started to feel it or experience it and not really know what it is and where it's going. And I think the whole issue here is that what we may have been taught in the past and what I may have even been teaching or talking about 2 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago doesn't really apply because of all of the changes with AI. And what's the big issue? Well, I think the big thing is that there's now a unique opportunity for people who don't necessarily have a lot of skill or their own information to really create content. And I'm talking about the content glut that's coming up. If I take a look at some of the things that I've even covered in the last little while, hopefully you can see this okay. There's a flood of content hitting the market, and it's only going to get worse. I talked last week about a couple tools that are new from Google. One of them was Google Video, which is actually, I think, part of Notebook LM or kind of an offshoot, but you can upload documents, yours or someone else's, and it will actually create a video for you. In Gemini, I think was the engine. I did another one last week where you can add a paragraph of text and it will create a video that's lifelike for you. So the barriers to entry to what was creating videos has absolutely disappeared. And we're in a position now where someone can create what they call a course or some kind of educational material. They can create it in a couple minutes, a couple hours, and it has some issues with it. First of all, there's that volume, but we're not going to be able to tell if it's real. If I go and take a look at something now and it's a video and I see it from one of these tools, sometimes you can figure it out because the person has 6 fingers or maybe their mouth doesn't move in sync with the audio. But 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and just looking at the stuff that I saw on Video FX for Google, some of the demos there, it's very lifelike, and we're not going to be able to tell if what we're seeing is real, and even if the people that we see as real. I've heard rumors, for example, that some of the people that are influencers or AI influencers aren't even people. They're character-generated avatars for people. So this is happening, and we've got a situation where we got a glut of content. We don't know if it's real, and we don't even know if it's the person's own content. Is it just something they uploaded to create a content from? So there's that huge thing that's happening, and we can't stop it because AI is not going to stop and go, oh, great, we can't make online courses anymore. We have no control over this volume of content that's coming in. So having said that, if you're creating online courses and you have in the past and you go, I have some really great content, it's unique, I know exactly what I'm talking about because I have all this experience, I'm just going to create an online course. You might be thinking, well, if I create a course about my stuff with my content, and I do a really, really good job with it, is that going to be enough to actually build a business, an education business? Or am I going to be able to sell it because I have great and unique content, and because I produced a really good course that has all of the things that I've been told to have, like being able to do a certification and quizzes and homework, and I've got fancy videos and text and images. I've got all the content in there. If I create great content, that's going to be enough, right? Well, there's a lot of people creating great content right now, and it's going to be difficult, I think, to differentiate yourself based on content. And if you can't differentiate yourself based on the quality and the amount of content that you have, the next thing that you might want to go to is, kind of gaming the system. And that's when you get into that traditional stuff about following algorithms and figuring out how you can take advantage of the platforms that are available to you, or the ways to get traffic, or if you have traffic, be able to use psychology triggers and all sorts of ideas that you may have been taught in the past on how to get people to take action and get enrolled in your courses or in your content. And that's that kind of old school information about doing things like having lead pages and landing pages and using fancy hooks and all of those things that we may have been taught in the past, and stuff that, that I've even talked about and mistakenly kind of refer to just because I'm used to using that language still. But we're in a situation, we got a lot of content, it's coming fast, it's all good, and a lot of people are using psychology and things to actually manipulate or kind of guide people through particular paths that result in them buying a course or purchasing something from me that I know that I'm excited about. So we're at that spot, and a lot of people, what I see happening here is they're getting, what I call lost in the AI content creation. If I look at the tools that I've investigated over the last couple weeks, they're all over the place. They're all AI generated, where it's me doing some kind of prompt, getting some kind of result to create content the way I think it needs to be created. And I think you can get lost in that, whether it's learning how to do a new prompt or a new prompt framework, or getting a new tool that does something for you, like write copy or create the image or create the video or create quizzes. It's always about us kind of figuring out how can we use AI, do some kind of prompt to get this kind of output. And you can get lost in that. There's so many cool tools. A new one comes out every day. It's like, how do I keep up with it? And it can be confusing and really frustrating, trying to get the answers that you think you need or the output that you think you need by trying to figure out what are the right inputs or prompts that I should be using or the right tools to be able to do that. And that's why I think we're really right now at that tipping point where we've got all of this stuff happening. It's happening really, really quickly. We have no choice as to whether it's going to happen or not. It is going to happen. It's not going to go away. So we've got this content, and if you take a look and say, great, that's cool, I got the content part, it's there. What is it that people actually need that are consuming the content? What are the things that someone who is taking your course or is purchasing your course, what is it that they need? And in the past, it used to be a course. It used to be a long series of content that had a start and a finish, and that people would be able or would use or need that content to take some action that they would get a result that they wanted. And we organized the content for them, and that was the course, the traditional course. Right now, with all of the content, there's three things that people actually need or are looking for. The first one is they have all the content now. It's free. It's all over the place. There's a glut of it. Which ones that are there are actionable? Which are the ones that they actually should be spending time doing? Which are the ones that are right for them in their situation to go, yes, I need to do this. So if there's a billion choices and they have to sift all through them and filter them all to find out the ones that are actionable, they're looking for a way to say, these are the things that I need to do without having to do all the searching. There's some AI tools that can help people do that, but even if they do have it, one of the things they can't tell necessarily is it accurate? Some tools like Perplexity and even ChatGPT now, they include references on what they use to give their particular answer or response. Some of the other tools allow you to upload your context, your documents, your research material, and have the prompts come from that. But if I'm searching for content and I do find something that's actionable, I'm doing it on my own, I need to know that it's actually accurate, that it's someone's content that they've actually done and it's real content. It wasn't created by AI, it was something that someone created and had the proper context to. And then finally, they have to figure out if it's useful. It's one thing to have a lot of content that's actionable. It's okay that you know that it's real, but you have to look at it and say, okay, well, what's the recipe? What are the steps or the ingredients, and only the ingredients I need to get the result that I want? I don't have time to figure out how to cook the entire meal, the first course, second course, the desserts, all of that stuff, the entrees. I just want to know, how do I cook one piece of my particular meal? How do I saute something? How do I barbecue the steak? How do I prepare this one piece of it? So it's a lot of figuring out, filtering, and these are the things that people want. They don't want content anymore. They have enough content. They don't want to be manipulated or kind of taken down rabbit holes. They just want to know, is it something I, should take action on? Is it real? And what steps do I use to actually take that particular action? So we're in a position here, a lot of content, a lot of issues for people who are traditionally taking content courses. And you may be asking, well, where do I fit in for this? How can I help as someone who's formerly a content or course creator or just a traditional content creator? Where do I fit in? And what's the actual tipping point if people aren't looking for content anymore? People don't need content anymore. What they're really interested in this point is what you can provide for them. And what is that? I think that if you are creating an education business, the part that is important for you to consider, to think about, is not creating more and better content. That ship has sailed, it's gone. I think what we can do and what we can give as people that are building education businesses is we can give or provide trusted guidance. People are looking for someone who can help them filter, sort through, search, only provide the material to them that they need that is actionable. So being a much better guide. If you go do Everest, there's a big mountain, a big hill there. You get a Sherpa to guide you on the proper paths and the way to get there, so you're not doing it with trial and error. And also clarity. The thing that that you can provide in an education business is clarity. And what I'm talking about clarity is the big picture. A lot of people get down, lost into the weeds as they're looking and searching through all of these things. And that's easy to do if you have something like brand new AI tools where something new comes out and it's like you get focused down on that one tool, but you miss the big picture and how it all fits together. So if you're able to provide clarity in a big picture, that is a big picture for a unique individual. Everyone has their picture of how something wants to turn out for them or an outcome that they want. I know when you're talking to people, I'm sure you run into, I have a body of knowledge and someone, asks for help and they have one picture of how they want things to happen. You do another person, it's a completely different picture. It's not all one size fits all, like in a course and providing content. It's being able to see the big picture for people and be able to guide them and give them clarity on what their picture can look like with all the actionable items that you know about. And then it's a proven direction. And this is great for people who are have been in business for a while, who have a ton of experience. This is your real value, is because you've actually seen the content, you've taken action on it, you have the clarity, and you've already done it before. So you have proven recipes, you have steps, you know what's involved to get the outcomes that you've already got or you've helped your clients get. So having those pieces is, I think, where the value is for us as people building out education businesses and thinking about online courses and creating online courses, is to be able to provide these things or give these things to the people that we're trying to help. And I have one thing that I have the word motivation here on the list. If we look at it right here, I was watching, I think it was another channel that I subscribed to. I think it was Graham Cochran, and it was just a short that I saw. And he was talking about the one thing that AI can't provide, and all of the content that AI provides to us, is motivation. If you have a vested emotional intent or purpose of helping someone, you can provide motivation that doesn't exist in any AI response. And that real value of motivating people to get people to take action, to implement what it is that you are guiding them through or mentoring them through, I think there's huge value in that, and it can't be replaced. So, you have to kind of figure out, am I going to spell motivation correctly? Let me do that. Motivation, there we go. That's a little bit better. Are you going to be motivated to help people and have an emotional interest in the results and them getting the results? Yeah, and I think, if you can give that or include that, that's where you have some real value building out your education business. So those are the things that we can give. What is it that we do that, and how do we do that? What is our value that we can provide to people? This is the cool part for me personally, because I'm not young anymore, is that I have a bank of time, and I've invested in my bank of time. I have all of this experience, and think of it just as a 401k or a registered retirement savings plan. I've banked a whole bunch of time. And in that time is value. You have a huge reservoir of information and value. And if you're motivated and you have intent to help people, you can call on those reserves and be able to share it and share your story with it. And I think the new currency for people in all of this AI content and all of this AI glut and all of the cool thing that's happening is time. Time is the currency. And if you can provide or use some of the accumulated currency that you have to help people to save time, that's the part that we can give in our education business and be able to really build an emotional bond and get excited about what we're doing and what people are doing and how we're helping them do that. And the real purpose for time, or that currency of time, is being able to cut through the noise. And remember that if we can help people focus on what matter, what's actionable and what's useful and what's real, remove the overwhelm that is all of this opportunity that people are running into or having to deal with, and provide context that is unique to the individual person, that is absolute gold to someone who is all into this huge overflow of content. So our goal in any kind of education business isn't to create more and better content. It's to simplify, guide, and curate. It's to be able to organize how all of these pieces and experiences that we've had, how they all come together so that we can provide clarity and direction and be able to guide people through all of this. And if we're able to simplify for people, to guide and to curate, what you become is an expert in your particular space, your particular field. Remember, you've already banked your time. You've got it there already. It's just how you want to spend it is what you're doing in your education business. Are you the expert? Yeah, you can be. And I'm going to show you a little trick on how to be seen as the expert. Are you the mentor? Yeah, you can be. And it's okay to be a mentor. And it's a connector. You're bringing the pieces together. And this space of being able to do that is all about trust and rapport and people being able to be comfortable with you and the information that you have to get a particular outcome that's there. Now, I'm not talking about forget about AI. What I'm doing and what I'm working on, and I want you to maybe consider, is can we let AI do the heavy lifting? Things like repetitive tasks, and minimize the amount of inputs that you have to make personally to get an output that you can use in your business. I'm not saying disregard it, but I'm saying use it where it's best suited, not to do the things that you normally did, which was create content and course content. So let AI create the content or help you create the content, but in your education business, focus on being the expert, the mentor, and the guide, simplifying, organizing, curating, and allowing people to take actions on the stuff that they need to take actions, knowing that will particularly work. So that's something you can give, and that's the tipping point, right? We're sitting here now where we've got all of this content that's available to us, and we're balancing off, am I going to create more and better content and focus on that? Or am I going to provide what I have banked already, my currency of saving time and being able to be a guide and using my experience to help clarify and do all these additional pieces. Now you might be going, okay, great, why are you talking about this, as if it's going to happen really quickly? I think it's going to happen within the next year, the next 358 days. I think when I'm doing this in 2025, I had another person that I subscribed to, Matt Wolf, I think, and he used the example of, a calculator. If I look back at my time in school, when I was in high school, I remember the calculator came out and the calculators were really, really big. They didn't do a lot and they were expensive. I think there was one from Texas Instruments, and if you're old enough, you remember this, was a TI something, but it did like cosines and functions and algebra and a whole bunch of really cool things, and they were like gold. If someone had one in the class, it was like they were way ahead of everyone because they had all these things that they could do with it that normally had to be done by hand, but it could be done with a little pocket calculator, and it was available at $200, $300 just to get this done. Now, not everyone had it in the classroom, but some people had it, and they started to be able to do better. They had some early wins because they had a tool that a lot of people didn't necessarily have. And I think the calculator came out in the early 70s. It really became available to the consumer in the late 70s. But if I take a look in the late 80s, everyone had a calculator. And in fact, it was getting ready to be actually a phone, but everyone had a calculator. And even your classes, sometimes a calculator, when it first came out, the teachers were going, man, no one's going to know how to do it. They're going to forget the basic skills. And what happened is a calculator just replaced the need to do the skills and let people think about bigger problems. And we're in that position right now where we're not in the calculator tipping point, we're in the online course tipping point. Am I worried about not being able to create content my own way because I'm using AI tools? Yeah, and some people are going to complain. I have a whole bunch of situations right now where I have example comments. Some of the posts that I've done or videos I've done on YouTube about the AI tools, it's like a third of them are, I'm never going to use AI. It's not authentic. It's not real. And then other people are going, man, this is a great thing since sliced bread. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to use it. It's going to do this. So this resistance is something that's going to happen, but over time, the resistance is going to disappear. And that's the same thing with AI. Now, how quickly did this happen with calculators? I think it took 10 to 15 years to happen. How quickly is this going to happen over the next AI year? It's going to go blazingly fast. It's going to go really fast. It already is. Stuff that I talked about 3 months ago, tools that I looked at 3 months ago, have dramatically changed in the capabilities and the things that they can do, and that's in a couple months. So in the early days, over the next year, I think you're going to see a bunch of people that are really experimenting, and there's going to be some early winners. And these are people that are using AI tools to create a lot of content, and they're able to create it quickly. And I think we're going to see people creating some of this stuff, and it's going to start coming out, and you're going to have people that go, wow, this is it. Great content, use AI to create your content, more content, all the better. So that's going to happen, and then there'll be a couple people that are going to move away from that. And I know in my space personally, there's a lot of the older marketers that I've seen that are doing similar to what I'm doing now, where they're not using a traditional website. They're kind of closing things up to a community. We're going to talk about that in a second, but there's a shift that's happening, and it's already starting to tip away from just creating content. As this keeps on going over the next year, we're going to have this market saturation with these content floods. It's only going to get worse. So that's coming. The weight is on that scale. And then I think near the end of the year, you're going to find a hybrid blended model. And what am I talking about there? I'm really talking about AI plus a teacher who is going to be able to provide that personalized guidance, that clarity, and that direction for people, and use the content that they've either created manually and or with the use of AI tools to curate and organize and simplify all of the stuff that's out there. And that's where I think the real value or silver lining is, especially for people who have been around for a little while, because you have that bank of experience to be able to share to people, and you've archived and put together all of your thoughts based on your experience, and you can provide those things to the people who just want to do what you're doing or learn what you already know or apply what it is that you've already applied before. So focus on your experience, your authenticity, your real life stuff that's happening, your perspective, your view on things. That's what I'm doing. And I'm having a blast doing it, helping people, because I'm motivated to help people and share all of this cool stuff that I've done in the past and that I'm doing today. And again, I think that that motivation or that positive intent is really, really fun, because I get to meet great people all in unique situations and try and help them get to the place or the transformation that they're looking for based on all of my experience. It's a real authentic way to be able to earn some money if you decide to do that. And I think the cool thing for us and the cool thing for me is what I'm going to cover in the next kind of videos, because if you are going to subscribe to this tipping point where you're going to bring yourself as the value add and your time and your ability to do those things, you need to have a place to do it. And YouTube is a place to start, but I don't think it's where you have the best place to amplify your value and your strengths. So I think, you need some kind of platform to share your voice and your voice uniquely, not in the crowd of YouTube. You have to be able to go, AI is the starting point, not the end. So it's not just about creating content for YouTube, and your authenticity is the differentiator. So how can we amplify these strengths? How can we bring this together? And how can we put it? Or where can we put it? And I think what's happening, and this is what I'm betting on, and this is what I'm seeing from other people in my space who have been around for a long time, is a private branded campus or place to amplify your experience, where you can curate and connect people and share your currency, which is your experience. You can position yourself as the guide, and you can use AI strategically to make all of this happen. And what's that place to provide it? A private branded campus. So if you want to find out more about what a private branded campus is and how it allows you to do all of this, stay tuned for the next video, or make sure to go and visit trainingsites.io/join to go visit my private branded campus that's here to help you start, build, and grow your education business. This is James Maduke speaking. Like and subscribe to the channel. Of course, I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video. Take care and expect the best.